The education, the educator effectiveness committee is not called to order. Can I get a roll call?
Dr. Bothy? Dr. Bothy is present. Mr. Davis?
Present.
Mr. Davis is present. Ms. Edmiston? Ms. Edmiston is present. Mr. Garvey? Mr. Garvey is not present. Ms. Holloway?
Present.
Ms. Holloway is present. Dr. Jones?
Present.
Dr. Jones is present. Ms. Lewis? Ms. Lewis is not present. Ms. Orange Jones? Ms. Orange Jones is not present. Mr. Rock?
Present.
Mr. Rock is present. Dr. Thomason?
Present.
Dr. Thomason is present. Ms. Voce?
Here.
Ms. Voce is present. Ms. Smith?
Present.
Ms. Smith is present. You have a quorum.
Thank you.
Good morning. Just a bit of housekeeping. According to the building maintenance, the microphones, if they are pointed up, interact with the speaker system, and that gives us the feedback. So when we push it away, we'll try to make sure that it's pointed down. The floor mics, if more than one of them are on at the same time, it will do the same thing according to them. So we shall see. Ready? Your consent agenda is ready for approval, adding items 3.1 through 3.5.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion that was moved by Ms. Dr. Bothy and a second by Ms. Roche. Do we have any comments from the board? Ms. Superintendent? Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item, please.
Your first item is on page 1. Item 2.1, consideration of a one-year extension of the provisional approval of the Caddo Parish Practitioner Teacher Program. The department recommendation is to approve.
So moved.
Second. We got a motion by Dr. Bothy and a second by Mr. Ross. Do we have any comments from the superintendent? Do we have any comments from any board member? Any further comments?
No, sir.
Motion passes.
Your next item is on page 2. Item 2.2, consideration of a request for a waiver of policy contained in Bulletin 746, Louisiana Standards for State Certification of School Personnel. The department recommendation is to approve the waiver regarding TAT extensions as outlined, and to direct the LDE and the Teacher Certification Appeals Council to conduct a study regarding the efficacy of TAT extensions.
Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion by Dr. Roche, the second by Dr. Bothy. Do we have any comments from the board? Are any public comments?
No, sir.
Motion passes. Next item.
Your next item is on page 49, item 4.1, consideration of a records review regarding the issuance of a Louisiana teaching certificate appropriate to the credentials of Mr. Byron T. Wade. The recommendation is either to grant, deny, or defer.
Do we have a motion from the board? And which motion? Which motion are you making? To grant, deny, or defer? Which motion are you making? Is to grant, deny, or defer? Do you want to grant?
It's your choice.
It's your choice.
What motion do you?
I would move to grant if you're not sure, Mr. Rock.
We got a motion to grant by Mr. Rock. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Davis. Do we have any comments from the board?
I'd like to know if the individual's here.
Okay. Well, if he's,
Yes.
will you make sure you state your name for the record? Any comments that you want to make before the board, feel welcome to do so. Do the board have any comments on Mr. Wade? Byron of the day. Mr. Wade. I'm asking the board, do they have any comments?
I have a question about whether or not the issues were disclosed on the professional conduct form.
Mr. Wade, do you want to respond to the comments about?
Staff might have to do this, I'm not sure.
His professional conduct form that was included in your packet showed that he answered no to the question. He may be able to explain why.
Can you do that for me, please? Hold on just a second. It does, I don't think it's on, Shan. Okay.
Mike's still not on. Mike's still not on.
All right.
Okay,
There we go.
because of the Article 893, where the disposition said that it was expunged, I mean, I was unaware, and the charges were dropped from a felony to a misdemeanor, so I never looked at it to be a felony charge.
Can you talk to us about why you're interested in teaching?
I'm very passionate about kids, education, teaching, mentorship. I have an ancillary certification in drama, which is very rare. The performing arts is something that isn't really thriving in the inner city. It's something that I'm passionate about also. So in a nutshell, I'm just very passionate about being an asset to the education field.
Can you talk to me about how you might use your experiences to make a difference in the lives of children?
Oh, most definitely. I share my testimonies with certain kids, and not verbally, but if I can see them going in the direction of a mistake that I've made in the past or that I've seen somebody else make, it helps me to steer them in the right direction, be more firm, be open-minded to understand the backgrounds of different individuals. I mean, every child is different. Every situation is different. And I'm making reference to coaching because I also coach in the school system.
Where would you like to be a year from now?
I graduate. I'm scheduled to graduate in December in educational leadership. I would like to be in administration as a dean of students or assistant principal in the next year.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question, please.
You granted the right to speak.
Mr. Wade, I apologize. I could not hear when Dr. Bobby asked about why you chose not to disclose the information. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
Because I did not know that it was expunged when it happened 10 years ago. So I didn't see a reason to put it. And also, within Article 893, that expungement, to my knowledge, was disappearance. And I did provide disposition paperwork when I first started working with the school system before I was certified to teach. So I had been a paraprofessional for 3 years prior to receiving my teaching certificate.
So it was a misunderstanding on your part
Yes,
that you
ma'am.
needed to share that information.
Yes, ma'am. But I did provide disposition paperwork before I even applied for a teaching certificate, and when this situation happened, and I was made aware that even though it was reduced to a misdemeanor when it was settled in court, it was the fact that it was just initially a felony situation, and I did not understand that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
The chair now recognizes Dr. Jones.
Ms. Edmondson, I'm going to direct my comment back to you. Having dealt with a bunch of these over the year, that's a very common occurrence because when the person gets their record, it says expunged on there, so they think that relieves them from the obligation of doing this. I was actually the one, along with another gentleman, that got the law passed that school boards received that expunged information, and so therefore they now receive it, but at the time that the person fills the paperwork out, they're under the impression that it's been expunged from their record. So it causes a problem in that respect, but it's good all the way around that school boards do now get that information.
Thank you,
Mr.
Dr.
Chairman.
Jones. Yes. That's all my questions.
The chair now recognizes Mr. Garvey.
Yeah, I have a question for BESE staff. As Mr. Jones said, this seems to be a common occurrence, and I'm wondering if there's some way we can add information to the question, such as this question includes expungements. Is there something we can do so that people who normally would want to comply and disclose this stuff if they only knew that they had to, is there some way we can make it more clear to them that they have to do this?
Shan Davis, BESE staff. We attempted to do that in adding the question number 5 on the professional conduct form with, have you ever been granted a pardon or expungement for any offense, as stated in number 3. And number 3 says, have you ever been convicted of a felony offense, been found guilty, or entered a plea of nolo contendere? His confusion may have come in that it was reduced to a misdemeanor, so possibly he thought he should enter a no to the expungement question. I can only assume that, but we can work further with that if you would like.
Could you look at it, please?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Davis, the chair would like to ask you a question. Would it be appropriate, or is it legal to ask, have you ever been arrested for any felony or misdemeanor? Have that been?
I'm not sure if it's legal. I don't think I feel comfortable with that because it may not result in a conviction, and I wouldn't want anyone to be held responsible for something they were wrongly accused of, but that's definitely your call.
Well, thank you. Do any other board member have any questions? Are you ready for the question? Any opposed? You can note it for the record that I abstained from voting on this one. Motion passes. Congratulations to you. Be a great teacher. We're looking forward to
Thank you.
looking forward to hearing about you and your teaching. Okay, thank you. Okay, you got the final item.
Your next item is on page 81, item 4.2, consideration of a records review regarding the issuance of a Louisiana teaching certificate appropriate to the credentials of Ms. Brandy Adams Leday. The recommendation is either to grant, deny, or defer.
Well, you heard the motion, and can I get a motion for the floor and be specific about what you're moving for?
Move to grant.
Ms. Holloway is moving to grant. Mrs. Voce has seconded. Do we have any discussion? Do you have any comments? Well, Ms. Ledet, do you have any comments that you would like to make? Brandy, would you have any comments?
I'll say for the record, my name is Brandy Adams Leday. I'm a Montessori teacher in Houma. It's a big thing in our little town to be able to subversively challenge traditional methods for education, to teach kids how to learn, not just rote memorization, and it feels like a calling for me as a mother to my own children, who I intend to educate in Montessori through high school, and for the lives of the children that I teach. It seems something divine, and I know it's my purpose, it's my passion, it's a way of life, it's not a job, it's not a career or something I do for the money. It's definitely not something that I do for the money, but it is something I'm very passionate about, and so I'd like to be able to continue doing it.
Do we have any comments from any board members? Dr. Jones?
Just one question, and I don't want to get deeply into this, but the damage to property, was this a domestic situation?
It was.
Okay.
Just to add to that, it's since been 8 or 9 years. My husband and I are still together. My stepdaughter, who the incident was with, we love each other more than ever. And unfortunately, it resulted in criminal charges for both of us.
Any more comments from any board member? Well then, are you ready for the question? If any board member opposed granting the teaching certificate to Mrs. Leggett, signify. And have no opposition. I want to, for the record, that I abstain again. And I want to say congratulations to you. We're looking forward to having you full-time in the teaching profession, and thank you for your dedication. And I'm looking forward to seeing about how much progress you make in your teaching career. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
Good luck to you. And if there's no opposition, my son is here today, and he might want to be a teacher one day. So if I could take a point of personal privilege, I would like, if it's okay with the board. Okay, has the guy stand up? There he is. From Monroe, Louisiana. Thank you for your time. I enjoyed this today. It's my first day. I'll get better. And if there's no more questions or anything that's on the agenda, that concludes the agenda right now. Okay.